Hello, algebra students. It's Mrs. Corjanis. In this video, I will work through some of the problems in today's Nearpod self-paced lesson. Okay, this is topic 2, lesson 2, which is about point slope form. All right, let us begin. So our objectives today are I can write and graph linear equations written in point slope form. Our content objectives are students will demonstrate understanding of writing an equation in point slope form given two ordered pairs by simplifying the slope formula, substituting the slope and coordinates of a point into the point slope form equation. Okay, so let's just review that the slope formula is m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then you're going to substitute the slope, which is m, and the coordinates of a point, which is an ordered pair. So it would be like x and y. And we've been using x1 and y1 to show the first point, and we've been using x2 and y2 to show the second point. In point slope form, this is going to be a different form that we're going to learn about today, okay? And this form is going to be y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Okay, our language objectives are students will listen and demonstrate understanding of writing an equation in point slope form by following multi-step oral directions and then practicing on their own. All right, let's begin. Oops. There we go. Okay, linear equations. There are three types of equations to represent linear equations, okay? Our first one is slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Our second one is point slope form, which is the one we're going to be working with today, which is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. And our third one is standard form, which is the lesson we're going to do next, which is ax plus by equals c. All right, so let's start over from the beginning a little bit. So point or slope intercept form, this first one right here, the idea between in this form is that we find a slope and a y-intercept. Okay, so if we have an equation in slope intercept form, it's going to the information it's going to give us are the slope and the y-intercept, okay? And the slope is m, and the y-intercept is b. Okay, point slope form is exactly what that sounds like. It's going to give us a point and a slope. So the tricky part about point slope form is there's two y's and two x's. The point is represented from this y and this x. And then we have our m, which is our slope. And these here give us our ordered pair, which is our x and our y. Standard form we're going to do after this lesson. Okay, after we're finished with lesson 2, we're going to move on to lesson 3, which is standard form. So that's not today. All right, moving forward. We're going to write an equation in point slope form. And for this one, I don't want you to do anything. I just want you to watch. This is a modified example 2A from Envision. This is not in your workbook. Do not copy, just watch. So I'm modifying Envision a little bit with our notes and everything, okay? So it is like 2A in Envision, but I am modifying it a little bit. Okay, this one's not in your workbook. All right, moving forward. So last time, actually, I'm looking for the workbook. Okay, last time, I gave you a set of steps, like in a list, and I noticed that um, we were still having a little bit of trouble with that. So what I decided to do this time is to give you a flow map, and you're going to do these multi-step problems in a flow map. All right. So this problem says a line with a slope of 1/2 passes through the point 3, -2. We'll write an equation in point slope form. Now, what you have to do is you have to go back to this slide here in order to know what your point slope form is. Okay, so this is your point slope form here because you're going to have to use it. You're going to have to use it for the next problem. I don't give it to you. So you're going to have to go back and get that. All right, so back to this. So a line with a slope of 1/2 passes through the point 3, -2. Write an equation in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. You might want to write this down because when you get to the next slide on Nearpod, you're going to need that, and I don't give that to you on the next slide. All right, so this is identify the slope m. So if we read it, the passage here, it says the slope of 1/2. So this line has a slope of 1/2. So that's your slope. So m is equal to 1/2. Okay, then your second step is label the point x1, y1. So this is your point right here. So that's point 1. So let's label it. So we have 3, -2. So we'll label it. This is x sub 1 and y sub 1. That's actually how I should say it. Okay, that represents, it's just your first point. This represents your first point. Okay, and that's point 1, and that's why this is x1 and y1, because it just represents your first x coordinate and your first y coordinate. Then you're going to write the slope, point slope form equation. So that is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. So write that down if you're going to need it for your next slide. Then you're going to substitute the m, which is your slope, and the x1, y1, which is your point, into the equation, then simplify. So let's write that down. So y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Okay, so now we're going to just substitute. Our slope is 1/2. Let me see if the highlighting works on this one. No, so we're just going to have to circle. So your slope is 1/2. So that's what we're going to replace here. So we're going to substitute 1/2 in for the slope. Then you notice that we only have x1 and y1. Give me 1 second. I know I'm going to pause this video, but I have to plug in my computer so it doesn't turn off. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so 1/2. Where did I leave off? All right, so if we notice here, let me use some colors here. So this is our x sub 1. So this is what I'm going to put in right here. Just x sub 1. The minus is part of the equation, part of the formula. Okay, so I'm going to just substitute that 3 in there. Then let's do pink. My y sub 1 is -2. So notice this negative is part of the original equation formula. So we want to put in -2 in parentheses. And then everything else stays. Okay, so we're going to bring that down. Oh, that's the wrong color. what color was I using? Was I using purple? Yeah. So y minus, that just comes down, and then x minus. Okay, so everything else that I didn't substitute just comes down. Now we'll simplify, okay? So negative times a negative is a positive, so it's going to be plus. So we're going to get y plus 2 is equal to 1/2 times the quantity x minus 3. So that is our point slope form. Okay, the next one is going to be an open-ended question. Go ahead and answer that one and move forward. It's okay if you don't get it right. And then the next one is for you to do. Okay. And this one is in your workbook, and I have to find the workbook to see what have I done with my workbook. Oh, here it is. Hold on, let me tell you what page this is on. Let's see. It's lesson 2-2. So this is oh no, this one's not in your workbook. No, this one's not in your workbook, so you can only do it on the screen. That's why I had said it was a modified version. That's it. That's right. So not in workbook. So I modified the lesson a little bit. I added a few more examples. That's right. All right. So moving forward, this is write an equation in point slope form. Do not copy, just watch. What is the equation of the line that passes through -4 and 1 and 2, 3 in point slope form? All right, so let's move to where I have my flow map. So we're going to use the flow map again. And we want the equation in point slope form. So point slope form is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This time we're given 2 points. We're not given the slope. So I have to find the slope m. So my slope m, I'm going to use my slope formula. It's going to be m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So I need to label my points. So this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's substitute these in. So this is 3 minus 1 divided by 2 minus -4. Now, if you need more practice with this or you have questions, please come to the drop-in. We're not getting a lot of people in the drop-ins. Okay, so 3 minus 1 is 2. And this is a positive. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So 2 divided by 6 is 1/3. Because we have to simplify that. Okay, so my slope is 1/3. Now choose and label 1 point. So it doesn't matter which one we pick. And actually, I've said here to pick x1, y1, but I'm going to choose this point. And the reason I'm going to choose that point is because both of those numbers are positive, and always when we're working with positive numbers, it is much easier. Okay, so we're going to choose x2 and y2, and that's okay. So this is going to be 2 and 3. And this is what we're going to substitute into the point slope formula. So we're going to rename it to x1, y1. So this is the one we choose. So if you need to rewind this or play the video slower so that I'm speaking slower, go ahead and feel free to do that. All right, so write the point slope form equation. So that's y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. And then you're going to substitute the m and this point here. into the equation, then simplify. So we're going to get y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. So I just rewrote it so it's easier to see. So I'm going to get y minus y1 is 3. So I'm not sure if the colors help or not. So let's do that. So y1 is 3. It's equal to m is 1/3. And then x minus x1 is 2. So this one, actually, there's nothing to simplify. So I'm just going to rewrite it so it's all one color. But actually, this is your answer right here. So it's y minus 3 is equal to 1/3 x minus 2. And you're all set.